What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for thelines.com, playpicks.com. Going to talk to you about the NFL draft. It is finally here. Christmas in April for us football nuts. And man, so many different ways we can go about attacking this thing from a betting standpoint. I'm here to give you my five best bets here for the NFL draft in 2021. Before we get started, look right here over on thelines.com. Here's a nice little draft betting guide page. You can come down, you can scroll between the different picks, you can take a look at the draft order, some draft needs and things like that, and of course little breakdowns and blurbs and stuff of some of the big name players and all of that. So be sure and start right here. Tons of other content over on the lines as far as the NFL draft as well. Without further ado, let's get to the bets. Guys, the first bet we're going to talk about here is over 4.5 wide receivers taken in round one. We're going to find this over here at William Hill, the best odds, minus 320. Could have gotten this better about a week ago, but hey, here we are. It's still available. I still love this bet, even at the 320 juice right now that we find over at William Hill. Look, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Rashad Bateman are all going in the first round. They're in everybody's mock drafts. They're in everybody's first round. All the respected mocks out there all have all four of those receivers going. So now we need one more receiver to go in the first round. We're talking Elijah Moore, Terrace Marshall, Kadarius Toney, Rondell Moore. All have shown up in various first round mocks that we have seen. If you look at some of the respected mocks out there, Pro Football Focus's Steve Palazzio has 6 in his. Sam Monson, 7 in his. ESPN's Mel Kiper, 6 in his. McShay, 6. Brugler, 5. Ryan Wilson from CBS has 5. Sharp Football Analysis has 6. So we're getting 5 or 6 in every single respected mock draft that's going out there. The Bengals, the Dolphins, the Giants, the Eagles, the Lions have all been linked to wide receivers. The Ravens got an extra first-round pick when they made that trade with the Chiefs. They need a wide receiver as well. On the back half of the draft, there's the Bears. There's the Titans, who lost Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith. They could use someone to help out A.J. Brown. The Saints, who only have Michael Thomas, really, at this point, they really need a weapon. The Packers always are in need of a secondary option there for Devontae Adams. The Bills and the Bucks both have just luxury picks, right? I mean, they can take whoever they want. They don't really have a glaring need on either one of those teams. And so, hey, could end up being one of these wide receivers as well. But again, there are 4 locks. We just need one more of those guys to get taken. So I am okay in a passing league where teams are running more and more 3 wide receiver sets. I'm okay laying the juice here on the over total wide receivers at 4.5 in round one. Number 2, guys, we are heading over to FanDuel, and we're going to look at Miami Dolphins' first drafted player, and we're going to hit this wide receiver at minus 125. Of course, we know the Dolphins have the 6th overall pick, and if this draft goes the way that everybody says it's going to go, Trevor Lawrence at number 1, Zach Wilson at number 2. It looks like it's going to be Mac Jones at number 3. The Falcons doesn't look like they're going to find a trade partner. They're going to take Kyle Pitts at number 4. Then you get to the Bengals, and when you get to the Bengals, they will have a choice between Penny Sewell and Jamar Chase. If they take Sewell, golden, no matter what, then Chase is going to go to the Dolphins at 6. Here's the other thing, though. Let's say that the Bengals go ahead and reunite Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow there at pick 5. The Dolphins still have to get a weapon for Tua Tagovailoa, who they have decided is going to be their quarterback of the future. They're not moving off of it. They gave him the vote of confidence. And if you look at the advanced statistics, the other thing here, people look back and say like, Tua wasn't very good. Tua wasn't very good. Devontae Parker got 1.7 average yards of separation from the player covering him. That was tied with A.J. Green for the worst amongst all receivers in the NFL. Mike Gesicki, a guy that we've all thought was going to be a really great tight end in this league, and he's been all right. But here's the other thing. His amount of separation was the worst amongst tight ends in the NFL. Throw in that Parker also had 9 drops, was 9th in the league in drops as it was anyway. You've got some guys that need some help, and Tua needs some help on the wide receiver front. He needs another playmaker. So even if Chase isn't there at 6 and he goes to the Bengals at 5, I think that the Dolphins go ahead and step up and reunite Tua with one of his Alabama teammates, be that Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle. Give me the Dolphins taking a wide receiver with their first pick at minus 125 over here on FanDuel. Number 3, guys, we're going to head to the quarterback position. We're going to talk some Trey Lance, and we're going to take over 6.5 for Trey Lance at plus 125. So again, we would lose this bet if he went from picks 1 to 6. We win if he goes 7 or later in the draft. I'll tell you why I'm behind this pick of Trey Lance of over 6.5. Everybody seems to believe that this is Mac Jones going number 3 to the 49ers. If you believe that, and if you believe what everybody says, and if you believe, at this point, pretty much everybody is on that, and all we can do is go with these people who are experts and all the people who are insiders. So if we believe that Mac Jones is going number 3, then there's no way really for Trey Lance to go inside the top 6 picks. And here's why. The 49ers gave up a king's ransom to move up to number 3. The Falcons apparently had been shopping that 4 pick as soon as they were able to see what the 49ers gave up to get into that number 3 spot, and they were not finding any suitors who were willing to give them what they were looking for to get up to number 4. All indications are that they have decided, look, nobody's going to give us what we want for this pick, so we're just going to have to take who we want, and we want Kyle Pitts, so we'll go ahead and take Kyle Pitts. Listen, people were sticking a fork in Matt Ryan. I think it was a little premature. The guy was actually the 12th graded quarterback, according to Pro Football Focus, in football last year. And if you remember, look back on that Atlanta Falcon team, it wasn't necessarily the offense that was bad. It was them giving up huge leads. The defense was blowing it for that team each and every week. And so I am not here to say that Matt Ryan is definitely done. Plus, you look at his contract. The guy has so much money tied up over the next 2 to 3 years into that contract that it would be crazy for the Falcons to draft a quarterback at 4 and have him sit for 2 years behind Matt Ryan. You're just not going to have a guy making $20+ million sitting on the bench either. And so with that, they don't take a quarterback. They take Kyle Pitts. We know that the Bengals with Joe Burrow is not taking a quarterback. We know that the Dolphins with Tua Tagovailoa is not taking a quarterback. So that moves these other 2 quarterbacks, the quarterbacks that don't go number 3, that means Justin Fields and Trey Lance, outside of the top 6. So I like the over on 6.5 for Trey Lance, given the information that we've gathered that it looks like Mac Jones is going to go number 3. Our 4th bet here, guys, we're heading back over to William Hill. Total Alabama players drafted in round 1, over 5.5. Laying a little bit of juice here, but hear me out. If you played poker before, you know the term outs, and you love to have a lot of outs. And with this bet, we have a lot of outs to get to the over 5.5 here for Alabama players drafted in the first round. The guys we know for sure: Mac Jones, Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, Patrick Surtain, all going in the first round no matter what, for sure. All likely going within the first 12 to 15 picks in the draft. 4 guys out of the way right there. Then we have a pool of 4 other guys who have shown up in mock drafts all over the place. We have Alex Leatherwood, offensive lineman, big, mean guy that's shown up in a ton of mock drafts, especially here lately. We have Christian Barmore, defensive lineman, shown up in a lot of mock drafts towards the end of the first round. Now, he would have to be a guy that does kind of like creep into the first round. He's been kind of showing up in the 27, 28, 29, 30-ish type range. But again, a guy that several people have said fits in well towards the back end of the first round, defensive lineman Christian Barmore. Najee Harris, the number 1 rated running back in this draft. This is a short running back draft. Now, we understand that the draft, and especially, analytics, people out there for football don't like taking running backs in the first round. I get it. I totally understand it. However, we've also had pretty deep running back classes. We've had running backs that can go in the later rounds that have been able to step in and do things. You can ask any of these talent evaluators. It is basically the top 3 running backs and then a gigantic, massive drop-off after that. And so I think with the position really creating a premium, we're going to see a running back, maybe even 2 taken in the first round. And with that, Najee Harris has a very good chance of going in the first round as well. And then Landon Dickerson, another offensive lineman, the number 1 center in this draft, had he not gotten injured, would easily have been a first rounder. Got injured in the SEC championship game, and so the injury is fairly recent, kind of new. Was a pretty much no-doubter first-round guy, and I believe that there is still a chance getting mocked in the first round in several drafts. There's been insiders who have talked who said he's recovering nicely. There's a lot of teams out there who are not so much worried about the fact that he can play center and that the ACL injury is not really of concern to them. And so we have 4 locks. We have 4 different guys, all of who have been mocked in the first round in tons and tons of mock drafts out there. And we only have to have 2 of those 4 end up in the first round. By the way, they're Alabama players. They played in the SEC. All these things matter a lot to these coaches. And so I believe the over 5.5 on Alabama players gets there. I think Najee Harris ends up going in the first round. That gets us to 5. And easily one of Alex Leatherwood, Christian Barmore, or Landon Dickerson ends up in the first round as well. And finally here, guys, number 5, a long shot. We're going to go long shot bet here to close things out. Everybody likes to have a big number and hopefully be able to bet a little to win a lot. So that's what we're going to do here on this last one. We head over to DraftKings and teams to draft. So basically you come up here, hit the 2021 draft tab here, and then team to draft player tab. And when you do that, you're going to find Justin Fields. You're going to find Trey Lance. What we're doing with this, guys, is we're going to take the Bears on both of these guys. 8-1 on Trey Lance, 10-1 on Justin Fields. So we'll be holding an 8-1. We'll be holding a 10-1 ticket for these guys to go there. And this bet actually looks a lot better as of Wednesday whenever we looked in the Denver Broncos traded for Teddy Bridgewater. The Broncos are one of the teams that were going to be going after a quarterback most likely. It seems like they have given up on Drew Lock. Seems like they were going to turn the page there with that organization. Well, instead, they're kind of going to go a mixed bag here. They're going to bring in a floor guy in Teddy Bridgewater. You know where his floor is. It's much higher than Drew Lock's floor. Drew Lock's ceiling is obviously higher than Teddy Bridgewater's. You have these guys battle it out for the starting job. Teddy Bridgewater pushes Lock. Maybe he makes him actually work harder and get better and whatever. And if he doesn't, then fine. You can resort back to Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy's not going to lose you games. He's not going to go out and win you tons with his spectacular play, but he certainly isn't going to go in there and turn the ball over and make bad decisions like Drew Lock was doing all the last couple of years. So I don't think, though the rumor is that they are still open to taking a quarterback, I think that's something that you say because you want people calling you. You want people saying, well, man, the Broncos might take a quarterback still at pick number 9. Maybe we should trade with them and get into that pick and go get the guy we want. So, of course, they're going to say that they're still open to taking a quarterback. I can't imagine having Locke and Bridgewater that they're going to bring in another quarterback in this scenario. So with that, we look at these quarterback-hungry teams out there. Yeah, you look at Washington. They've only got a bridge quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick. Say what you want about the Lions and whether they think Jared Goff is any good or not. That's up for debate for sure. You've got the Eagles. What do they really think about Hurts? We'll find out. But here's what we definitely know about the Bears. They had to settle on Andy Dalton. They are going to be looking for a quarterback. They do not think that Andy Dalton is going to lead them to the promised land. That's for sure. And now that with one less team to battle with, that being the Broncos, for one of the quarterbacks that are going to be left after picks 1, 2, 3, I can see the Bears making a move, or at least, again, we're getting a 10-1 and 8-1. We need this Bears pick, we need the Bears to pick Justin Fields at 10-1. We need him to do it, 2 times out of 10 for this to make money for us. 20% of the time, we need them to trade up and take Justin Fields. We're getting an 8-1 on them to trade up and take Trey Lance. We need that to happen 25% of the time, right? A quarter of the time, we need them to trade up and take Trey Lance for us to make money on this. So Yes, they're going to be battling it out with the Patriots, but that's why we're taking both of these guys. The Patriots can only take one quarterback with one of the picks. The Patriots likely going to try to make a move. That's the rumor all day Wednesday, that they were going to try to make a move if they don't trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, which again is apparently a rumor as well. But they're going to try to make a move. If that's the case, they can still only draft Fields or Lance, and that still leaves one of the other guys, and we're getting big plus money on these guys. 10-1 Justin Fields to the Bears, 8-1 on Trey Lance to the Bears. I like these long shot tickets to hold, and you can easily draw a line to this playing out. A quarterback needy team looking, getting desperate, trading up, and trying to go get the quarterback of the future, because I can tell you right now, Bears fans, Andy Dalton ain't that guy. Guys, those are my five best bets here for the NFL draft. Tons of other ones. We talked about a ton. We have a podcast out, so be sure and listen to that over on thelines.com as well. If you need to sign up for any of those books as well, if you don't have an account at any of the books that I went through, if you don't have a William Hill or a FanDuel or DraftKings or a BetMGM, just come up here to US Sportsbook, find your state, click on your state, and you can easily get you an account at one of these places. And again, you're going to get the very best sign-up bonuses that you can possibly get. I'll click on Michigan here, but you can look, $1,050 for free. If you want William Hill, a $2,000 risk-free bet, $600 risk-free bet at BetMGM, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So be sure and take advantage of the awesome sign-up deals over at the Lines as well with all this. And good luck on all your bets on draft night. Man, I can't wait for it to come, and we'll certainly review everything and let you know what we think about where these people end up landing and what their future holds for the team that ends up drafting them next week on the podcast.